Oh my god, Jon Snow rides a dragon. Jon Snow, real name Aegon Targaryen, sixth of his name, rides a freaking dragon. Well everyone, the first episode of season 8, the final season of Game of Thrones, gave us a good insight into everything that's been happening in Westeros since the last show graced our screens. Seriously, Jon Snow, Aegon Targaryen rides Rhaegal. In today's video everyone, it's going to be a complete review and breakdown of what happened in the first episode, so I'm giving you guys a massive heads up. There will be spoilers, and even more spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode just yet, I would strongly advise to wait to watch this video until you do. But if you don't want to wait and you want to know what happens, everything that happens in the first episode, then stick around and enjoy today's video from Game of Thronelore. So the episode has a brand new intro reel, and it is pretty cool how they've incorporated the latest events into the reel, especially with the part of the wall that's been broken through included. And it's also pretty awesome that how it's from the Night King's perspective as the camera is heading south. So as expected, the opening scene centers around Winterfell and we see a young boy running through what appears to be an army. Then the next shot shows us that Daenerys' army of Unsullied and Dothraki are entering Winterfell. And then next, probably one of the most beautiful shots of the whole episode in my opinion, we see Jon and Dany march side by side on horseback. It's such a powerful scene and they appear so majestic. It really is excellent camera work and it's also excellent directorial work. Jon then sees Bran and although happy to see him, he notices just the huge change in personality since Bran became the three-eyed raven. It's almost as if he's unrecognizable. Sansa and Daenerys meet for the first time, and while Dany is polite and tries to make conversation, Sansa, appearing hardened as ever, merely states that Winterfell now belongs to the Queen. Bran just bluntly interrupts, telling Dany that her dragon now belongs to the Night King. And overall it's quite a funny little interruption and it's a great first opening sequence to the episode. So next we see a meeting taking place with the Bannermen of the North, and Lady Mormont highlights the fact that she and the other Lords of the North chose Jon as their king, and now he has returned to them as nothing, which gained a supportive vocal response from the men. And she does have a point, she's not even sure whether to call Jon my lord. So Jon states that he gave up his crown to save the North, as titles won't matter if everyone is dead. They need Daenerys and her armies in order to kill and conquer the Night King and his army. To which Jon also gains a somewhat vocal supportive cheer. So it's quite a brilliant scene all round, with two strong arguments being made. After the meeting, Tyrion and Sansa meet for the first time since Joffrey's own death at his wedding. Tyrion lightly jokes that a little notice of her leave would have been nice, until they move on to discuss more important matters, the impending arrival of the Lannister army, which Tyrion still believes is going to happen. Sansa then insults Tyrion's intelligence by claiming she once believed he was the cleverest man she ever knew, in reference to his naivety of actually believing that Cersei hasn't got other secret motives in mind. This is quite a tough time for Tyrion. He's really falling from grace, and to be honest, part of me thinks that Tyrion will be an army casualty because of his naivety. So it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen and what path Tyrion is going to take as the show goes on. The next scene of importance comes as we see Queen Cersei look upon the arrival of the Iron Fleet and the Golden Company, while being informed by Qyburn that the wall has been breached in the north, to which Cersei is actually pleased to hear. We also discover that Euron Greyjoy still has Yara captive, and then during his meeting with Cersei after he docks, informs her that he's very eager for her to agree to their arrangement. She reluctantly allows him into her bed and then acts as if it was nothing, though she is quite distressed afterwards. It is possible that she's still heartbroken over Jaime, probably due to the fact that she knows he has to die. And that's confirmed when Qyburn assigns Bronn to assassinate both Jaime and Tyrion at Cersei's own command, in addition to giving him a huge sum of gold to do so. So this is quite a sobering moment because Cersei has given the consent to kill the man she loved, and has asked a man who has a strong bond of friendship with both targets to do it. So then Theon is able to rescue Yara as Euron is still occupied with Cersei. So Yara allows Theon to go to Winterfell and fight. Theon actually asks for her permission as he looks upon her as his queen and not Euron as the king. Yara then plans to retake the Iron Islands as they are basically defenseless with the entire Iron Fleet now at King's Landing. So it cuts to an interesting scene afterwards with Varys, Sir Davos and Tyrion all discussing the possibility of Jon actually ruling beside Daenerys as king and queen. Now I hope I can correctly assume that at least the majority of us fans would like to see Jon sit on the Iron Throne with Daenerys by his side. But anyway, we'll move on to the next important scene, my favourite scene, and that is when Jon and Dany go to tend to the dragons as they have not been eating as much, which concerns Dany. And this is where it all happens, showing that Jon really is a true-born Targaryen. Rhaegal just takes to him like he knows him, like he understands him, like it's an immediate bond. Now, we have seen Jon make contact with Drogon, but never Rhaegal. So after Dany's encouragement, he mounts Rhaegal for the first time, and the dragon explodes into the air with a nervous Jon looking like he's holding on for dear life. Now guys, this for me is the greatest scene of the episode. To see the natural true-born king and queen to the 7 kingdoms riding their dragons so majestically, it creates an essence of that inner feeling of happiness when you think, man, this is a feel-good moment. These two are just meant to be. It's so well suited. Please, for the love of God, don't kill them off, George. There's also a funny follow-up scene when Drogon appears that he's not too happy that Jon and Dany are kissing, which is another feel-good moment. He looks on at them like he's an overprotective dog, or like a parent with their hands on their hips when you get into trouble for kissing on a porch step. I think it's really good to see these nice moments because I know, and you all know, we are in for a lot of unpleasantries ahead in the final season of Game of Thrones. We also see Gendry greatly improving his skill at making dragonglass weaponry, and also an intense but short run-in between Arya and the Hound, with him stating that he's not surprised that she survived. So the next scene that I found quite tough to watch was a scene that was supposed to be originally a happy encounter. Completely grateful of Samwell Tarly's efforts to save Ser Jorah, Daenerys discovers Sam's relation to Randall and Dickon Tarly through his revelation that he stole the family sword, because Sam is asking for a pardon for stealing it. Daenerys reluctantly reveals that due to both his father and brother's refusal to bend the knee, they were both executed. And honestly guys, this scene really put a lump in my throat, seeing Sam being brought to tears at his brother's death more so than his father's, but it was also a crucial lesson and quite a reality check for Dany to see that all actions have consequences. You see her immediate look of guilt before Sam quickly leaves in tears, running into Bran outside, who informs him it's time to tell Jon the truth. Sam then finds Jon in the Stark family crypt and firstly informs him that Daenerys has executed his father and brother. He's deeply upset and asks Jon if he would have done the same if he were king, to which Jon tells him that he's not king. Sam strongly replies that Jon should be king, not king in the north, king of the 7 kingdoms. He goes on to tell Jon that it is he who is the true born king and explains his parentage, telling Jon that he is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. Jon is in shock. He's speechless, and it looks like this is going to be something of a game changer should he decide to reveal this information to Daenerys. We then see Tormund and the members of what is now the former men of the Night's Watch, as the wall has been breached and they can't defend it. Anyway, we see them checking for men in an emptied garrison at the wall. Now, there's quite a hilarious moment before Tormund and Edison actually run into each other, when Edison shouts upon his first view of Torment, "Ah, he's got blue eyes!" To which Torment replies, "I've always had blue eyes." So quite a funny moment, and it really made me laugh. They then discover little Lord Umber, who was on his way to get his people, but had been killed by the White Walkers and nailed to the wall, surrounded by a symbol kind of similar to that of the Targaryen sigil, made from dismembered body parts. The boy becomes reanimated and is torched by Beric Dondarrion's flaming sword. What a chilling message from the Night King. Again everyone, I think it was brilliant to have Lord Umber involved at the opening of the episode, being the boy who was running through the people, and then also have him speak at the meeting, as it's such an amazing display of opening and closing a story in just one episode. The final scene is of course Jaime Lannister arriving to Winterfell without his Lannister armour on first off, as he has to now explain why the Lannister army are no longer coming. The irony of seeing Bran Stark stare at him from across the yard almost has Jaime turn white in the face, and it will be interesting to see their first encounter since season 1. So guys, that is it. As I said, there are spoilers, so I hope many of you who have watched this video haven't actually seen the first episode. Now I think despite so much going on, the first episode really did spread out quite evenly. It's not too clustered. Now, I think many of us knew that the Night King wouldn't make an appearance, but my last question to ask you, and let me know in the comment section, is, do you wonder where the hell 100,000 dead people are, as Winterfell isn't quite far from the wall? Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever, so please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do. It's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content, so if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDeanJ and on Twitter at PotterFolklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.